the comments. Ed's Fish Tank Extreme. 10 minutes late. And someone else. I'll find it. Anyway, someone else complained. Bluto. Late as usual. Well, I'm sorry that this free show inconveniences your life. Alright, kids. We're not going to stay up. I'm not going to make these shows as long as we've been. It's very cool to chat with you, and I love chatting with you guys, believe me. But, the weeks are long. I get up at 4:45 in the morning. By Friday night, I'm dragging. Anyway. Plus, we don't need to talk for an hour or 90 minutes on topics. So, we're going to talk today about coralline algae. It's the purple stuff, you know, this stuff. Alright. So what is coralline algae? Well, it's an algae, and a lot of people really strive to get this. Alright? It's beautiful in my opinion. Most reefers love this in their saltwater aquarium. You cannot get it in the freshwater aquariums. It's saltwater only, kids. Sorry. Now, I was looking for a photo to show you guys. I only have this one. On Google, I did a search for coralline algae, and I'm like, wow, damn, that picture looks pretty good. It looked kind of familiar. I'm like, that coralline algae is screaming. It's from my 75-gallon tank when I did a video on this like a year and a half ago. So anyway, I like the rock placement. Corals are healthy. Coralline algae everywhere. Now the coralline algae is all that purple stuff on the rock. It's totally healthy. In fact, that's the sign of a healthy tank, when you have the coralline algae. Now, when I first started getting the coralline algae, I thought, oh my god, what is that stuff? It's on the glass, it's on the back wall, it's on the snails, it's everywhere. And I didn't know what it was, but it's really good stuff. So, what you want to do to grow that coralline algae, there's a few things you can do. For one, now I only buy dry rock, and dry rock is rock that's, well, dry. You take it off of a shelf in the store, in the fish store, in the reef store. I only buy dry rock because I want the bacteria to grow naturally on my rock in the tank. We've discussed that before. Okay, there you guys go. I wasn't seeing the feed for the comments. I'm not going to have the comments scrolling during this one, okay? We're just going to stream it and it's just going to post. So I'll look back on your questions, you guys, and, you know, we'll do that. You guys can see this and read this, okay? It's streaming for you all? Let me know. Someone said that the feed isn't moving. Okay, whatever. Alright, so what I did when I first started my saltwater aquarium, I actually bought a live rock, which means there's already bacteria on it. Alright, and that could be dangerous because you're going to get that from a reef store. It could come with ick or parasites on it, because if that water is contaminated, you just contaminated your tank and your fish will probably die. That's it in a nutshell. But anyway, for my first aquarium, I love the purple rock. Now you can buy purple painted rock that looks like coralline algae, but it's not the real thing. Coralline algae will grow through your tank and grow onto your other rocks. So I bought a small tank. I can't even think because I'm reading the comments. I bought a small rock with coralline algae on it, about half the size of a softball, and I put it in my 75-gallon aquarium. Within 3 months, it grew to another rock and slowly to other bits of the rock. Within 6 months, my whole tank was covered in purple. It was awesome. You're going to see it grow on your glass. So all you have to do is take like a paint scraper or whatever you guys use to scrape off your glass. Be very gentle though. Don't scrape your glass, or God forbid it's an acrylic tank. You don't want to scratch that. Just scrape it off. It'll flow through your water column and it will just automatically settle on other parts of your tank and it'll grow. Now, if you have a friend who has a tank that you trust and you know that they don't have any parasites or anything in their water, you could have them scrape this coralline algae off and wait with a baggie, Ziploc bag or something, and scoop up a bunch of the water with these particles that you scrape off. It's going to be like fine like dust. It doesn't break off into little bits. It's going to be like dust. Then you can just simply take that bag and dump it in your aquarium to let those spores grow and attach. Now, what's going to cause them to be strong is a well-established aquarium of about a year. And of course, all the bad algae and all the diatoms and everything that we go through for a brand new saltwater aquarium, you're going to get nasty stuff on the sand. You're going to get diatoms. You're going to get green hair algae. You're going to get all these different kinds of algae because your tank is going through its growing stages, or I guess we could call it puberty for a saltwater aquarium, right? Once it advances past the teenage years and it reaches its first year of adulthood, it should be pretty much in the clear. That's going to be a pretty stable time for your tank's life. At that time, you'll see some coralline algae start to grow. So again, the best way to do it is to buy a rock and put it in your aquarium. If you do this, I would recommend actually quarantining the rock for at least 6 weeks in a separate aquarium to make sure all the parasites are off of it. The way to do that is to starve them by putting this rock in a proper aquarium. There's no fish in there, so the parasites won't eat it. They'll have no food source because there's no fish present. They'll die. I quarantine everything. This is why it's a hassle. This is why I buy dead rock, dry rock. I rinse it off under the faucet, and then I dunk it in RODI water, and then I literally just put it in my tank and let things grow. But if you want coralline algae, you can break off a piece from someone's tank and just throw it in your tank. Or you can have them scrape off some from the glass, put it in a Ziploc bag, dump it in your water. Or another thing you can do is when you go buy your corals, your frags, if you try and get some frags with some coralline algae, the purple encrusted growth on it, you'll see it on the base of the frag, on the little base that the frags come on. If you see it on the base, that's going to be good enough to start your coralline algae. Now, what does coralline algae need to survive and thrive? Nothing but good old water changes. You don't have to dose. Make sure your alkalinity is fine, your magnesium is fine. Make sure that your calcium is fine. This coralline algae is going to need calcium to thrive, okay? And the more you have, the more it's going to deplete the calcium in your water. It's not going to deplete it a lot, but you want to make sure your calcium is at 450 all the time. My calcium has been anywhere between 450 to 470, and it just stays in that range, and the coralline just thrives. All right, you don't have to worry about dosing anything. Really, these trace elements are going to be replaced in the water with good old water changes. I rely on Mother Nature. I don't dose anything. Okay, so that's the coralline algae in a nutshell, and it's gorgeous, and it really shows off the tank. It's got that professional touch. I mean, I love regular rock work, but the coralline algae is just insane. Another thing that'll prevent coralline algae from growing is if you've got too much phosphate in your water. All right, it'll prevent that. Other forms of algae can override the coralline algae and stop it from thriving. So you want to basically just make sure that everything's in check. You don't have green hair algae. You don't have crazy nitrates. You don't have any phosphates. You want to keep phosphates and nitrates close to zero at all times. For those of you new to the hobby, nitrates are the last stage in the nitrogen cycle, and that's just a fancy way of saying fish go pee, and then the bacteria eats the urine, eats the ammonia. That gets broken down into nitrites. The nitrites get broken down into nitrates, and then the nitrates are exported from your aquarium through water changes or your protein skimmer. Alright? So just make sure that your nitrates and your phosphates are low. Your calcium is at 450, okay? And do your water changes. And as with everything in this hobby, it always points to clean water with great circulation, water flow, and just clean water, guys. I can't stress that enough. So Ed's Fish Tank Extreme, your tank is covered in coralline algae. Good. You could probably sell it. I was thinking about doing it, selling like bags of coralline algae. All you got to do is just dump it in the water, and those spores will propagate. Did you guys know the coralline algae has been around since before the Jurassic period? 145 million years ago. In fact, that coralline algae covers most of the reef surface in the ocean, and there's a lot of it that dates back to 145 million years. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? We've been on this earth for, what, 20 years, 40 years, 60 years? It's a dust particle in this whole world. This coralline algae is alive, and a lot of it's been alive since the Jurassic period. So, if you got a rock from the ocean, chances are that coralline algae that you've got, that I've got, is that old. Isn't that amazing? And it winds up in your tank. Pretty cool. Mike's Reef. Mike has been up 2 months, and it's growing like a beast. I'm here to tell you I have some rock with some on it, and it will go all over the tank. That's right, Mike. It will. Once that coralline algae starts to grab a good strong foothold, it just ramps up and it just spreads throughout your tank. Brandon Clark, my tank is covered in coralline algae. It's a nice purple. It gives it a good look. It certainly does. I don't have any rock with it on there. Maybe I'll pick one up. Yeah, Mike, I would, or have someone break it off. If you know someone with an aquarium that you trust, that you know that their tank is not infested with parasites, you don't need much. I mean, you could literally just break off a piece the size of like your thumbnail and just drop it in the tank. In fact, I'd recommend just kind of scraping some of it off with a metal paint scraper in the water and just letting it propagate, and those spores will attach. They're very strong and hardy. They'll attach to rocks, and it'll take a couple months to fester, and then you'll start to see it grow. When I put new rock, dry rock, in my aquarium, it was just all gray. In fact, if you guys look back at some of my old videos, take a mental note of what color the rocks are, and then watch some videos like a month or two after, and you'll see some of the purple start to grow. And after about 2 or 3 months, you'll see that rock all purple. In fact, that Pucani rock that I just added when I tore down the JBJ45 aquarium about a month and a half ago, about a month ago, I put that rock in my tank. It's still pretty much gray. It's probably going to take a few more months, and I'm betting it'll turn all purple. Mike Lemming, would it be enough to scrape it off of a frag plug? Yeah, Mike, it would. Get a frag plug, just drop it in your tank, or scrape it off a frag plug. Great question. Atomic Warrior 94, can it spawn over time with none being introduced to your tank? It can, because it's natural. The conditions have to be just right. just like sponges growing in your aquarium. Sponges will grow on their own, but the conditions have to be just right. It will be way better if you can spark the growth of coralline algae by, again, taking a piece of tiny rock from a friend's aquarium and scraping it off, or just dropping it in the tank, or getting a frag plug. Just buy like a cheap frag with coralline algae on it and scrape it off into the tank. I would quarantine the frag first, of course, because we all know parasites can come in on water. You just, let's say that water is infected, and you take that coral plug out and put it right in your tank. You just put some of their contaminated water in yours. Bay Area reefs. You have to keep up on your parameters and it will grow. Totally correct. Mother Nature, your parameters, good old water changes, like I said. That water as clean as possible. Get the nitrates out of your tank by cleaning your mechanical filtration. If you use canister filters, you guys have to replace or clean thoroughly the sponges inside the canister filters every 3 days. Don't use those canister filters for bacteria growth. Use them for what they're called, canister filters. They're filtering your water. That's it. Use your rock and your sand to clean your water for biologically. Clean those sponges, clean those sump socks, anything you're using. Clean it, clean it, clean it. Because the more that crap stays in your water, it's going to contaminate your water. That's why protein skimmers are the best thing you can buy, because they filter that shit out of the water, literally, and they keep it out inside the collection cup so it doesn't stay in your tank. That's why I'm going to be having 2 protein skimmers, because I don't have mechanical filtration. Hey, Wheat, what are you doing? Good boy.
I don't know where's my mom.
Oh, she's upstairs.
Where is she?
Upstairs sleeping.
In my room?
No, in my room.
Oh.
Alright. What else was I gonna say? So the frag. Yeah, damn pineapple sponges. Yeah, sponges aren't bad. I had a sponge outbreak, and there's nothing wrong with them. And Mike's Reef says, they're cool, but when they grow like crazy, they're disgusting, especially in your display tank. Yeah, they're kind of disgusting, but you know what I noticed, Mike? Sponges grow on the bottom of rocks and not so much on the top. Bay Area reefs. Hey, Rotter, how do you treat brook? You mean like Brooklinella? The parasite Brooklinella that attacks mainly clownfish. I treat that the same way I treat the ick. I take those clowns out and I quarantine them, and I treat them with half the dose of cupramine that Seacham recommends. And I just give them like a gentle copper bath. I leave them in there for like 6 weeks, and I make sure that they eat. There's also a food you can get that they absolutely love that supposedly takes care of it from the inside out. It's called Dr. Z's. It's in a squirt bottle, and when you squirt it into the tank, it looks like a bunch of little tiny gel balls, and they eat it. And it's got like some garlic flavor in it. They go ballistic for this stuff. So if they can't eat and they don't want to eat, that's something you can feed those guys. So treat Brooklinella like you would ick parasite. David, so will the Coraline form without a piece of rock? It will form, but it's going to take a lot longer. So your best bet is to take a tiny piece of rock, even, like I said, from someone's tank, or scrape it. Have someone scrape it off their glass and put it in a baggie. You just dump the water in your aquarium if you trust their water. Make sure it's parasite free, of course. Or just buy a frag. Go buy some frags this weekend and quarantine them first, I say, and then throw them in your display tank, and that coralline will spread. Let's see. eShops is a good one. eShops anything is really good. I love eShops. I'm not getting paid to say it. By the way, all the stuff I've ever bought for my aquarium, I bought. No one's ever given me anything. I'd like to get some sponsors. How do I get rid of sponges? They're all over my tank. Just stab them with a knife. You know what gets rid of them? Nitrates. But you don't want your nitrates to grow. You can also just scrape them off. You know, they'll die that way. Do you guys make your own food? You know what? I've thought about it. I've been asked to make food and sell it. People are really interested because I've been making my own food just out of like I'll make it like my fish go absolutely nuts for this. I go to the butcher and I'll get like not squid so much because that disgusts me, but I'll just pretty much just get shrimp and oyster, and that's really it. That's all I've really experimented with, and some crab. And my fish go nuts for it. I put it in a blender. I throw some garlic bits in there, and even a little bit of banana, and then I grind it to a mush, and then I freeze it, and they go nuts for it. Nano Joe, liquid dosing for Coraline? No, don't waste your time. There's some stuff called Purple Grow or Purple Up. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. In this hobby and in other things in life, just let nature take its course. Just let it happen. Don't waste your money. Buy a tiny rock. Get a rock from a friend. I recommend that. You trust the water. You know where the water's been. Or, you know, buy a little frag. Yes. Astrea snails with coralline algae will do the trick too. You know what? Those damn Astrea snails, I've heard that they eat the coralline algae. So those bastards, I like the way they look, but they multiply like fiends. And if you can get rid of them, because they do go after your coralline algae. I haven't seen a problem with that, but I've heard that's the case. Nano Joe, speaking of food, bought the wrong Rod's food today, and I feel like a dummy about it. You bought what kind of wrong Rod's food? You would think the fish would like it. David, how will I know my tank finished cycling and I diatoms right? How do you know that your tank finished cycling? There'll be no ammonia in your tank. When your tank is cycling, you want to monitor for ammonia. Ammonia is fish pee. I wouldn't recommend putting a fish in the aquarium to cycle it because that's mean. This will take a little longer because you put a fish. Some people put a fish in the aquarium, they let it go to the bathroom and pee and everything, and then, you know, the fish winds up dying most of the time because the ammonia kills it because there's no bacteria in the aquarium to kill the ammonia. That's what cycling the tank is, for those of you who don't know. You need to build up the amount of bacteria so it can chow down on that ammonia so the fish can swim happily. Because if you put a fish in there and there's no bacteria, the ammonia level is going to rise and it will kill your fish. It's highly toxic. That's what some people do. What I did to cycle my tank is I just went to the butcher and I bought like 2 shrimps and I just threw them in the tank. They're dead, you know, like shrimp that you eat. And I just threw them in the tank, and I cut them up a little bit, and I just let them rot. And then I would feed the tank pellets. There's no fish in there, nothing in there to eat, but I would just feed the tank pellets so they would rot and start to break down. And, you know, I would also, if I was migrating tanks, you could take some water from a water change and put it in that aquarium to help it too, because that water has got like nitrites and nitrates and uneaten food, you know. But most people starting out don't have the 2 tanks. So just basically throw food in there, not a lot, but just throw it in there and test your water. You're going to see the ammonia levels rise. They're going to get really high. They're going to spike. And then one day, all of a sudden, they're going to just drop and flatten out. I recommend getting the Badge by Seachem. Do a search for it. The Ammonia Badge by Seachem. Seachem. It's just a little colored plastic circle that sticks inside your aquarium. And it's always going to be yellow. If it gets any darker than yellow, you know you've got ammonia in your water. Someone's calling. Let's see who this is. This is Steve. Who's this?
It's Ed.
How did I know that? What's up, man?
Did you see my latest video? I got a purple tang and a flame angel.
No.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Got a good deal on it.
How much for that purple tang?
$160.
All right, yeah, that's normal. Good.
We wanted $200, but he had 40% off, so I grabbed it.
And how much was the other one?
$50.
Okay. Are you quarantining them or what?
Well, he quarantined them for me for a week.
Okay, and you trust that? You trust that?
They've been in there for 3 weeks and haven't had an issue.
Okay. Well, I hope you don't.
I hope I don't either, but that's, chance you take either way, because sometimes you get quarantined and then you put it in the tank and an outbreak.
Yeah, well, it's just, without me doing it, it's like, yeah, sure, we quarantined it. Sure, yeah, it's all ready to go. It would just make me nervous. Like, how do you really know? I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
Well, I know, but 90% of the fish in my tank are from him, so.
Okay.
And did you see the video I made about his store?
On the what?
I made a video about the guy's store.
I did see that one. And that's the place that you get all your stuff from, right? Most of the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And he's got that 400-gallon tank with
that's
10
right.
feet long.
Yep. Yeah, I want that tank.
he added more fish, so I might do another video on it.
Okay. That's awesome.
But yeah.
So when did you put those guys in?
About 3 weeks ago.
Okay. That purple.
I haven't had an issue.
Those purple tangs are awesome, man. I'll get one eventually. That's for when I get a larger tank. They're beautiful, beautiful fish.
That's been on my wish list for years.
I know you were talking about that. What made you decide to get it now? Just
because he had it 40% off.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm not going to blow that kind of money on a fish,
Yeah, right. So it was $160 and then 40% off, or it was
No, it was $200.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they ain't cheap, those things, man.
They're not. I thought I saw them for an average of like $150 to $200. But
maybe
that's
on the website or something.
That's by me. I've seen a couple of them for like $150.
Yeah.
There's a place by me that I saw them for like $110. But that's the only place I've seen them that cheap at. That's where I got my Naso and my
Fowlery thing?
No, my the Naso and the sailfin tang.
Oh, the sailfin.
The same day, yeah. The Fowlery tang I got somewhere else. Yeah, but that's great. That's very good. They're doing well. Everyone's playing along well.
Everything's good. Yeah, because I got a yellow tang too. So.
Okay, and the yellow tang's cool with them.
Yeah, because he's like 3 times the size of him. Okay. The purple tang. So he's the king of the tanks.
That's
awesome. You got to take a look at that video. He's huge.
Yeah, I will. I'll do that tomorrow. I'm so behind on watching YouTube videos, but I will. I'm gonna check that out.
I can't imagine how many places you have to look at, right? How many different subscriptions you have, right?
How many people I'm subscribed to?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. I subscribe pretty much to all you guys, and then there's other subscriptions that are like kind of fish related, but then there's like water biology and all that. But then there's other subscriptions that are not fish related at all. Of course, music and all that. So yeah, there's too much. But I never watch TV. This is all I watch. This is it. It really is.
Where do you find time to work and record people?
This is a really good question. In the evenings, so Friday nights here is the only time I really get to do stuff. So when I'm done with this, I'll be doing my YouTube videos for my other channels, and then usually I'll try and find some time to surf around on the weekends to check out my channels that I subscribe to. It's a never-ending crazy passion. This damn YouTube.
Well, I trade some more coral on and getting a 300 E-Shops snow cone skimmer.
Sweet.
I jumped up to the 300.
You did, or you're going to?
I did.
Oh, how do you like it?
Well, I'm saying that's what I'm doing. I'm trading coral for. He's ordering it for me. I haven't got it yet.
How much did you get that beast for?
Oh, what did I get for? Like, I think $350.
Okay, yeah, that's a really good price.
Because a lot of places want $500-600 for that.
I know, it's insane. Well, you will not regret it. Those skimmers are insane, and there's a used one. I from my other video you saw, I was going to get one for the same price. It was used, but it's only like 3 weeks old, so it's pretty much brand new. So whatever. I ordered another skimmer to save a ton of money.
Yeah, I saw that. I never heard of that one before.
Neither have I. Neither have I. And I'm not one to spend money really on stuff that I don't know much about. But crazy reviews. I surfed the web once I found it. And it's called Go Aquariums. Never heard of them. But people say it's a great company, great customer service. They replace things, no questions asked. 5 stars across the board on various websites. And it's really cheap for a beast skimmer. So I figured, you know what, screw it. I'll buy it, and I'll do a show for you guys. I'm hoping it shows up tomorrow, but it might be here Monday.
That'd be cool.
So I'll let you guys know. I'll do the unboxing, and I'll set it up. I'm looking forward to it.
Hopefully it works for you.
Me too.
That would suck.
Yeah, I know. That would suck. It's like, just like everything, right? It's like, do I save money now and then eat my money? It's like just throwing it out the window, and you wind up going to buy the original thing you should have bought in the first place.
That's why I jumped from the 200 to the 300, because, to get a bigger tank, you might as well have the bigger skimmer.
That's exactly right. Now, this one will skim a 300 tank as well, and it's less than half the price. I mean, it's like $168. So
that's cheap.
Yeah. So and people are raving about it. They're like, "Oh my God, I wish I would have bought this sooner." So I'll let you guys know. I really want that eShops. I have the S200, and I love that damn skimmer. It does a killer job, and it's rated up to a 200 tank with heavy bio load. So
you should be really cleaning the shit out of that thing then.
Yeah, I think so.
With the two of them going at the same time.
Yeah, that it'll be rated up to 500-gallon tank on a 125. So it should be, these fish
crystal clear water.
Crystal clear. These fish should be just shiny and glistening. They better be. So
well, as your topic was coralline algae, it will eventually form by itself. But like you said, even like if you get like a crab or a snail with a little bit on it, it'll end up spreading through your tank too.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You just need that one little spark, and it'll grow. And
you get, like you said, the right parameters, the right clean water and flow and everything else, and then it just goes nuts.
Yep.
'Cause my whole back overflow is covered in it now, and it's just going nuts in there. So
I did see that on your tank in your other videos. Some people don't scrape it off their glass in the back. I always do. I don't know why people. Maybe they like to see it, but I don't know. To me, it looks cool. But I like to just see it on the rocks. So everything is just completely clean as much as you can, and then the rocks are just all purple. That's what I like.
Well, I probably will take it off the back of the glass, but I was just seeing how it would spread and how it would look, and the wife's getting on me about cleaning it, so I will. You have a good show now, all right?
All right, man. Thanks for calling in.
Happy reefing.
You too, man. Happy reefing.
Later.
I'll check out that video later. Oh my God. It hung up and we have music still. Okay, you guys. David, I have a Reef Octopus BH100 skimmer, how to tune it and get rid of microbubbles. That's just something you're going to have to experiment with. All skimmers are different because all skimmers are in different tanks. Your Reef Octopus BH100 could be in my aquarium and it'll perform differently. You got to kind of just find the sweet spot. And they all have a break-in period. My first eShop skimmer, the 120, it took like 3 weeks to break in. It was constantly overflowing. Nothing I did would take care of it. And then all of a sudden, like literally in one day, it just stopped. It has to break in. And once it breaks in, it's fine. Now my eShop's S200, there's no break-in period. It started skimming as soon as I put it in the aquarium. Just dropped out. Ricardo Perez, what? Hey, Reefing with Billy Pipes, what's up, dude? I got your voicemail, man. I was gonna call you, but I didn't have time. But I'm gonna call you. Ricardo Perez. What type of skimmer is the one you just bought? Look at the video that I did a couple days ago. But anyway, it's called G Aquariums? Go Aquariums. Go Aquariums. And it's goaquariums.com. And there's a link in that video description for Amazon. And dude, I was this close to buying a Bubble Magnus or Bubble Magus. Bubble Magnus, right? Is that it? I'm new to that brand name, so excuse me. I know that it's an awesome brand name. Let me just turn the music down here a little bit. I know that it's an awesome brand name, the Bubble Magnus. I was going to get the Bubble Magnus Curve 5, and, you know, I was going to spend the money. It was like $188 or whatever. And then just all the research I did, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I saw this Go Aquariums skimmer, and it reminded me of the eShops that I love. And the only reason I'm not going with the eShops is because of the money. I want another S200, but they're going for like, you know, $400. Screw that. I got mine on a sale for $235 the beginning of this year. I want another S200. Long story short, I found this Go Aquariums that skims up to a 350 gallon aquarium for $168. What do you think I'm going to do? Hell yeah. So that video is going to be coming out in a few days. As soon as the UPS man or lady, whatever, drops it off, I will be making a video for you guys. Magus. Magus? See, thanks, Pluto. Magus. That's just weird. It's like, you know, Magus. It's like maggots. That's what it reminds me of. Hey, Matt, what's going on? Gomez Reefing, what's up, man? Mike Lemming, what's up, dude? No N in Magus, Steve. You know what? Screw that, Mike. I'm calling it Bubble Magnus. Alright? Just like LFS. Local fish store. That's so stupid. It's the local reef store. Local fish store. Here's another dumb one. Husbandry. You gotta have good husbandry to take care of your tanks and stuff. Husbandry? What the fuck is that? Husbandry. Just call it cleaning. Yeah, you have to have good cleaning habits. Alright, what are you guys talking about? Cloudy water and stuff. A 10-gallon change on a 28. Yeah, don't do more than Atomic Warrior. Don't do more than a 50% water change on your aquarium. 50% will be awesome. Keep in mind, you got to do 40 to 50% for things to be good. 10-gallon water change and a 125-gallon tank won't do much, but that's what I do. Call coming in. This is Steve. Who's this?
Hey, what's up, Rotter? This is Bay Area Reef.
What's up? Who's this?
Bay Area Reef.
Hey, what's up, man? Bay Area
Hey,
Reef's
what's
on
up,
the
bro?
phone.
How you doing, bro?
How you doing, man? What's going on?
None. Just running around, man. I just dealing with this ick, and then my clowns came down with the Brooknilla, so
Crap, man.
just going through it in the tank,
Yeah, you know what? That's a lethal killer for those clowns. Killer clowns. That's lethal for those guys. So just get them in a quarantine tank and dose like half the amount of copper. Just let those guys swim around in like 50% of what Seacom recommends for the copper, and you'll be cool, man. You'll be good.
I was gonna use copper, and then just reading and looking at some videos, on BRF, and then I talked to Marine Depot, and they wanted me to use Paragard, and then BRS was saying use IFX because it has the formaldehyde, and
right.
So I went ahead and right when I put him out of the tank, I gave him a freshwater dip.
Good.
I've never done that, you
Good.
know.
Yeah, that'll
I've
help
done
a
that.
lot.
Yeah, I did that for it, man. It was a trip because I did it for about 3 to 5 minutes. But when I put the first one in, the one that was really bad, I mean, he went and laid down, right away. So I was thinking, I lost him. But he started trying to, swim around, and then I pulled him, and then I actually did the other one. But they're in the tank. They're doing good, but I'm actually treating the tank with the Hikari X because it has some of that.
Yeah.
I wanted to use the copper, but, they just reading around and checking some forums, they were saying that the copper wasn't good for Brooknilla. So,
it'll work. It will treat. I treated one of my friends' tanks with the copper for the Brooklinella, and they were fine.
Yeah.
But giving them a freshwater dip is awesome. I always do that to all the fish that I buy. I don't leave them in there more than a minute.
Okay.
And when they start to get like weird, actually, I've never seen a fish get like weird, but they can after about a minute because it is fresh water, and they'll start to kind of panic and freak a little bit. So then I'll just take them out, and I'll put them in like a 50-50 mix, and then I'll add the rest of the salt water in, so they're in regular salt water again. Then I keep them in the tank. Keep them in the quarantine for 6 weeks. That Paragard is good. Everything you're using is good. The formaldehyde is good. You know what I would recommend doing, and this isn't so much for the Brooklinella, but this is for everybody quarantining. Fish don't need to have the amount of salinity that you have in a reef tank. Like, they actually do much better when the salinity is lower, like when it's like 1.018. I always keep my quarantine tanks at 1.017 or 1.018, and that's actually more oxygen in the water as well. They thrive more in the lower salinity. So corals don't like it, and it saves you money on salt too. So give them a little lower salinity, and then do everything you're doing. Those guys should be okay if it's not too bad.
The powder blue tang and the Amphius got hit with thick last week, so I got them in a quarantine. And battling the ammonia, I'm just doing daily water changes because I didn't have, just like everybody else in the chat, nobody has a hospital tank just sitting around.
I know.
I mean, Scott's got one, but that's Scott, right? So I never had one, So
I don't even have one. Mine's not running all the time. It's gone.
See, after this experience, I'm gonna keep one because daily water changes isn't bad, but I got the ammonia under control. The powder blue tang got all of his color back, and the Amphius are fine. They're getting treated with copper, and they're doing good. And I actually brought that salinity in their tank is down to 1.010, right? So to 10.
All right, good.
So I'll go ahead and bring that down, to 7 or 8. But the clowns, that just, I was leaving them in the tank to cycle. I was hoping they could make it in there because I know it's in the tank. I was going to pull the rest of the fish out. And then come to find out this morning, I wake up, I go in there to check them out, to feed them, and they got slime hanging off of them.
Yeah.
So they're thrown in the quarantine, which this quarantine I put them in, this one's actually been up for about 2 weeks. Okay. And the ammonia's under control, everything's good. And but this salinity here is about 115 now. So I brought it from 24 to 15 today. You know what I mean? Fisher Hex, I talked to him. He said you can bring it down over 2 days all the way down. So I didn't want to drop it all the way in one day. So I figured I'll go halfway. And I didn't know to take them down even further. So I'll go ahead and take them down even a little bit more tomorrow because they're at 115 now. Oh, well, 15, 1.015, you know. So, but yeah, that's what I'm battling, man. Vanilla, I mean, I don't know what else I can get, you know.
Not much else. I mean, there's really no magic bullet, unfortunately. You're doing everything perfectly. There's not much more you can do. You're doing everything perfect. Now you just have to ride it out. Just take care of these guys. And you know what you could do? And you already know this. And this is what I do. Like, not right now, but I used to do this. Like, I don't have a quarantine tank running.
Mm-hmm.
I would just keep a foam sponge in my sump, you know, and just let it there, just let it there. And then if I needed a quarantine tank, I would get all the fish out, and I would just use water from my display tank to fill that quarantine tank. And then I would just take that sponge and just let it float inside the quarantine tank and just start the heater up, and you're good. And people are like, well, you're putting contaminated water with parasites in your quarantine. Well, that's not good. Well, it doesn't matter. They're going to die from the copper and everything else you're throwing at it, so who cares? Scott leaves his running all the time. It's a great idea. But it's Scott. Actually, I mean, the guy is loaded. I mean, he's got tons of YouTube money. I mean, come on. You know, we're different than that.
I had some sponges in the 20 just sitting there for about 3 weeks, and I did it. But, you know, and I was going to ask you this, too. My ammonia, because I remember you said something on one of your videos, is that the copper would mess with your ammonia testing, right? So, or your ammonia in the tank. So I've been testing, and I'm just doing water changes daily, which sucks. So I went ahead and, I used the Red Sea Pro salt. So I went ahead and got some cheaper salt because I'm going through so much. But is that true? Copper will mess with the ammonia in the tank?
The copper will...
Like throw it off? I remember you said something about throw off your test results or something.
That's right, it will. The copper will definitely 100% throw off your ammonia results. It won't be a massive, but yes, it will throw it off. So that's why you need to get an ammonia badge.
The badges, right? Yeah, I got them on all the quarantines now.
Okay, good. Yes, those are awesome, and they're awesome for a couple of reasons. For one, you don't have to do stupid tests. You can just look at your tank and say, oh, it looks pretty good today, and then you're done. I mean, you just visually see it, and it does not mess with, the copper doesn't mess with those badges, the ammonia badges.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
and
hard,
you have to replace them once a year. Don't forget that. You got to replace those badges once a year.
All these are new. Yeah, it's been tough, man, because it was like the powder blue tang gets blacked. You know, treated that, went away, and I think it stressed them out. And then I added some snails in the display, and then I think they brought it in. And then a week later he gets sick, and and then threw him in a quarantine. Of course, the $1-gallon cell went and bought one, the 10-gallon. It started leaking. I had to throw him back in the display. He got hit with thick again. Now he's back out.
Crap.
And then now the clown's got this Brutonella. So man, I'm just getting hit on every side. So I mean. At this point, man, I can go down to Petco and buy a fish and not even worry because there's no other disease that I can get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're getting hit from all sides, man. That sucks. So, as long as your display is empty, is it empty?
Yeah, it's empty now. I got everything out.
All right, good. So now it starts, and now the clock starts ticking, and now it's 6 weeks, minimum 6 weeks, minimum. Yeah,
I'm gonna do 2 months. What the plan is?
Even better.
Is quarantine everything in their separate tanks, and then I actually got a 20 long that I'm putting some live sand. That's actually sitting with water in it now. That should be cycled within 6 weeks, and then I want to throw all the fish in that together and leave them in there for another couple weeks before I put them back in the display, because I do not want another outbreak, man. I mean, of anything, So So I heard Ed was on, and he rolled the dice, but a lot of guys were getting on you and Scott. Why are you guys making all these videos? Why are you guys making these ick videos? And it's true, man. It's true. I watched all your guys' videos, and it helped me get to this point where none of my fish have died. I haven't lost one fish yet.
Oh, good.
So far. So
I know
yeah.
we've made like maybe a little too many ick videos, and it's like,
No,
let's
you
talk
haven't.
about ick again. I know it can get a little, but you know what? A lot of people keep asking questions. It's like, did you guys watch the old videos? It's still the same material, but there's a lot of people new to the hobby coming up all the time, and they don't know, and they don't. And so that's why we just kind of. Plus, you guys keep having questions. I don't have a problem talking about it. I've saved a lot of fish, and even me, when you start to see the signs, it's like, oh my God! And right away, it's denial. No, it'll be fine. It's not going to be fine. Well, maybe I don't have it. That'll happen to somebody else. Not me anymore. As soon as I see one thing, it's like, all right, looks like I'm staying up till midnight. Everyone's coming out of the tank,
Yeah. Hey, I've tried, and it's funny because all your guys' videos, and especially you, it's not going to work. Nothing you buy is going to work in the main display. You got to pull them. I tried everything, man.
Yeah.
Polyp Lab Medic, anything you could throw in a tank. Ginger, powdered ginger. I was in a video. Everything. Nothing works, man. Ick is going to stay in there. There's nothing on the market as of now that will take ick out of the main display tank. And I will argue that point, and I can put a bunch of stuff on my table and take a picture and say, okay, which one do you think is going to work?
Right.
You know what I mean? It gets in the tank, and it's done, man. You got to pull them, you got to treat them. And I think I don't know, maybe that's what happened to the clowns, because the clowns have actually never they came out once, but I mean, I guess Brook knows a form of ick. I don't know, man, but I'm going to beat it just like I'm beating this ick, and
you
sucks, bro.
You will beat it, and you will beat it, and I'm glad that you know what you're doing. I mean, you're doing an awesome job, and it was a tough battle to fight, because coming up in it, it's like you get a lot of people like, oh no, you got to just use ick-X, it'll take it. No, it won't, and I don't want to be a jerk, but no, it won't. I mean,
it won't. Yeah.
Nothing will do. And then you got these people. Well, I had this one guy. I'm a marine biologist and blah blah blah. Well, great. I'm glad you are, but it doesn't work. I don't want to be a jerk, but it doesn't work. I've used everything, and this works. And I don't want to say anything, but I've got absolutely no signs of it in my tank at all. I mean, nothing. Everyone is like slick and perfect because I don't introduce it. And I'm thinking about buying some coral tomorrow, and then when I do that, I've got like a 2.5 gallon aquarium that I got from Petco. That coral is going to be in there, no copper, of course, for like 6 weeks. I'm just letting that stuff just sit, man. And 6 weeks later, I'm not taking a chance. I'm taking it out, and I'll throw it in.
Yeah, you know what? It's after this, everything. Coral's everything. I mean, check it out. You can get a 5-gallon tank at Petco for $13. You can buy a 10-gallon tank at Walmart for $10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, now I'm in the situation, but I mean, before, I wish, I would have listened to you guys and actually quarantined everything right. I believe it came in on the smells. I really believe that, because I bought them at the shop, it did. It came in on the smells. So
that nailed me the last time, like a year ago, and I'm like, screw this, never again. It nailed Scott. It nailed Darren. It nailed a couple people. Like, where the hell did this come from? It came from the snails, probably. So I know that people are excited, and I get it, and they just want to throw it in the tank and have it look all pretty. But oh my God, you're looking at a nightmare waiting to happen.
Oh yeah.
And you know what too? When you buy coral, you don't have to do water changes. There's no ammonia in that water, so the coral can just sit in a separate quarantine, a coral quarantine. You don't have to do anything. But you know what?
Yeah.
When you get the seeded sponge in your aquarium, you'll be doing water changes maybe once a week.
Well, you know what I actually did was I bought some of that Dr. Tim's, the bacteria you throw in, and I've been pouring some into my sponge filter. And I'm noticing, like today I didn't do a water change. I'm going to let it go a day because the badge is showing clean. So I've been pouring it into that sponge, and I put sponges in my 20, which I know that has no ick because I got that hippo tang in there. And knowing what I know now, if there is ick in the tank, a tang's going to get it. You know what I mean? If you got a tang around ick, it's getting it.
Yeah.
So, but what the thing is that, I mean, the $10 at Walmart or whatever for that tank, the $13 at Petco, I mean, if I would have just spent that money, I mean, I'm about probably $175 in products trying to treat my display tank, you know, and now on top of that, I still had to go out and buy these $13 and $10 tanks, you know. So yeah, everything's quarantine, man. No roll of the dice for me. That's it, man. And the thing is the 20-gallon reef tank is my first tank, so I knew nothing about it. I know nothing about this Brunella now. So I mean, I'm just, you know, my videos are for guys that, look, I never even had a goldfish, man. If I could do this, you guys can do it. But what helped me was all your guys' videos. I mean, that black ick, that you made that years, you know, a couple years ago, I think, and I checked that out. So, you know, it's cool that you make those videos, man. And you and Scott, bro, you guys are good for the hobby. You're good for YouTube. But yeah, it sucks, man. But I'm going to beat these bugs and never get them again, you know, even if a fish store, nothing against that, but be careful. Even if a fish store says they quarantined it for a week, you never know, man, you know?
You never know. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody. I do things myself unless I know that they did it. I mean, God, they'll say anything to sell a fish. Even if you trust them, I would not trust them, you know? I mean, just do it yourself. Now, someone asked while you were talking, they said, snails can carry ick? No, they cannot. But the water
can be on them.
Yeah, the water in the aquarium, because pretty much all reef stores share all the same filter system. So if one tank has it, all tanks are going to have this parasite. So you say, I want to buy these snails, and they throw them in a bag. That bag has water in it, obviously. That's contaminated. Now, if you put your hand in and get the snail out and put it in your tank, some of that water is going to mix with yours, and the parasites are microscopic, and you're going to carry them over. So that's why we say snails or inverts of any kind. So what I would do is I would just get like a 2.5 gallon, a 5 gallon, and just have a heater and maybe a very small power head and a light for the coral and the inverts. You want to buy a shrimp? Throw that guy in there for 6 weeks too. No one goes in the display tank. No copper, of course. Copper only for fish. Copper kills inverts and corals instantly. But keep those guys for 6 weeks. Just let them chill. Just enjoy them. You don't have to do any water changes because there's no fish crap in there because there's not going to be any fish in that tank. You know?
So what I was told, because at UC Davis, right here in California, and UC Davis is a pretty known college, they got a marine program where it's about marine fish. So I called these guys up. They were going to come make a house call for $180 an hour to check my fish, treat my fish, and give me medication. And I almost dropped that for them to come out and check the fish, you know.
Screw that.
Yeah, you know, at this point, man, I didn't even care. So I was going to pay it, but I was talking to the guy that actually, one of the directors of this program, had reef tanks. And he was telling me that snails can bring an ick if, you know, one thing people say is, well, these snails are in this tank, there's no fish in this tank, so they're fine. No, because like you just said, the whole system is being shared. So all it takes is one of those eggs to land on the snail's back. And even though you know, don't, like me, I put them in a bowl, I acclimate them, I pour them out. I actually pour RO water on them, brush them with the toothbrush, and I put them in. Well, if that egg's still encrusted on there when I put them in the tank, it hatched, and then boom, there goes the thing.
That's right.
But with Brunella, and another thing is people say, well, like shrimp and all that can't bring. Well, shrimp could bring in Brunella and Brunella and also ick. If they have an egg on their leg, if one of the ick parasites encrusted on their leg, they could bring it in. And how you can't dip a shrimp, you can't, you know, put any medication on a shrimp. They'll kill it just like a snail. So it's quarantine, man. Everything has to be quarantined
That's
down
right.
to that. And
That's a great
you know,
point.
$200 mistake, but it's, what do I got? 13. I probably got about $40 in tanks, and I'm already about close to 200 in on medication for the display tank. So it was a big price, but you know, anything can bring it in. Snails, shrimps, anything. You got to quarantine.
That's right. I mean, there's no medication that's going to kill it.
No.
It's a money racket. It's, swear to God, it is. The only thing that's
It
going to
is.
kill it is, like I said, it's removing the food source, which is separating the fish from the
Yeah.
diseased tank. You treat the fish in one aquarium with copper, and you let the main tank empty for 6 weeks minimum, 8 weeks preferable, and then the parasite just dies. It just dies. And then when your fish are better, you move them back after 8 weeks, and then your tank is fine. Yeah, I'm in the wrong business. I gotta start making $180 house calls, man.
You know what? Yeah. That's the thing. This is for students to come out. It's 180, and the guy told me that supports the program. But like I was saying, the guy was the director at a reef thing. He told me, he says, "Look, man, this is what I do. I teach kids about marine fish. We dissect them. We look under the parasites under scopes." He said, "There's nothing that's going to kill it. You got to quarantine it." And he told me to use copper. He told me some other better copper than cupamine.
Yeah.
But he did say cupamine was one of the safer ones.
Yeah.
And there's nothing, man. Nothing's going to fix it. And like I said, you know, I'm new into this hobby, man. I mean, well, now I got about five or 6 months, but I don't know nothing about it. I don't know about this other Brunella, and nothing will kill that parasite in the display. You got to take it out. You got to quarantine your corals, snails, shrimps, and that's it. So now that I got it in the tank, there's a live sale this weekend. I'm going to buy a bunch of coral, and then that's it. It's going to have the 8 weeks.
Well,
you know, but
you have to. I mean, my big fowlery tang fish, the last time someone brought ick in my tank a year ago, all my fish came down with ick terribly. And I thought I was going to lose most of them. My fowlery tang was so riddled with ick, his whole body was bumps like he had 2 to 3 times crazy chicken pox all over him. And when he would swim, his whole body would kind of vibrate and shimmy because he was irritated because they're eating through his flesh. I'm like, I'm going to lose this dude. He looked miserable. He moved miserable. And I thought I was going to lose him. But with the copper bath for 2 weeks, he's fine. And now he's in the display tank for a year with not one on him. So you'll beat this, man.
Yeah, my powder blue, man. I wish I could have took a picture, but it was such a quick get him out and get him in. I mean, I thought it was velvet. I've never seen velvet, but I heard it looked like, throwing sugar on it. But it didn't quite look like that. But he just had so many spots on him, and it was just eating him. He was shaking because all these parasites, and they just looked like bumps all over, like internally coming out of his body. And I thought it was done, you know. And then one other thing real quick, I know you got to get off, but I went in there to reach for him. I made a video on this, me fighting the powder blue. Now, I've heard tangs, in the back, they got this, that little line there, they have, they say like little razors or something come out. That's their defense mechanism in the back tail.
Right.
I went in this powder, I mean, he used to let me hold him. I mean, I can reach in the tank and I can feed him out of my hand. He was a nice fish, but when I went in there to get him this time, he turned his tail and he was I didn't want to tear all the rocks down again. So he turned his tail and he was flopping his tail and he cut me, man. He got me with that little thing. And I pulled my hand out and I was bleeding. I was like, man, what's happening? I didn't hit a rock. And I looked and I went back in and he turned around again. He was shaking his tail. And luckily I got him. But yeah, you got to be careful with those things, man. I mean, they can get you.
Yeah, they can, and that is their defense mechanism. It's sharp.
He cut me pretty good.
Sharp as a razor, and then if you have a fox face fish, man, those guys. I
heard about that. The spikes or something.
The spikes, and there's also venom out of those spikes. So if you get it, you're gonna get venom. So you got to look out for those guys. Are actually dangerous if they get you. And I have alt-tangs and the fox face. So you just want to be...
Yeah.
I forget. Sometimes I forget, and I always... I like to touch them, and they let me touch them. They trust me, but you forget.
I thought the first thing I thought about is I wanted to get this in there now, but like for you, especially like you or Scott, I know Scott said he has some ick in his tank and he has it under control, but like for you, I don't know what you would do with those fish, and your fish are pretty big if that came in your tank, So especially like you, I don't know if you stress when you buy a snail or when you add something to your tank, because I don't know what I would do, man. I'd be stressing out if I was you. Getting anything. I probably would leave the tank alone. No more coral, no nothing. This is it.
That's why I haven't added any fish or any coral.
Yeah.
But if I do add something, that's why I swear to God, everything's going to be quarantined for 6 to 8 weeks. Fish, coral are going to be in a separate quarantine with no copper. I'm not trusting anything.
Yeah.
Nothing ever again.
Yeah, well, right on, brother. I'll let you go, man. I just want to call in. I haven't called in a while, but one thing, bro, you are doing, let me tell you something, and this was coming from someone that's new in the hobby, that's never had nothing. You are doing a good job. These live shows, bro, your videos about it, make 100 more, because even though I've watched them, I still have questions. It's like my job. You could read something on paper or watch something, but until you get into that situation, you don't know what to do. You know what I mean? So you're good for the community, bro, YouTube community. You're the best out there. I don't know why you don't have 100,000 subscribers, but really, man, I mean, seriously, this is the second time you've helped me black it, and now this, and I appreciate it, bro. You're doing good, for this hobby, man.
Thanks,
and
man.
For
that
someone
means a
that's
lot.
new, I learned a lot from you, and Scott. So I appreciate it, bro.
Thanks, man. Anytime you got questions, just let us know.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you later, man.
Okay, man. Have a good one.
All right. You too. See
Good
you.
luck. Yeah, you guys are all getting jealous because someone was hogging the phone conversation. Mike Lemming is like, yeah, I had a 40-minute conversation with Steve on the phone last live feed a couple weeks ago. Yeah. 39 minutes had to be edited out because of his drunken stupor. Let's see. Anybody else want to call in? You know the number. 630-503-6017. 630-503-6017. These are good jams on tonight. You know what? I'm not going to edit this show, you guys. I'm not going to edit this show. So when it's done, it's up there. So sorry if it's an hour and a half long. Don't listen to the whole thing. See what I care. Let's see who this is. This is Steve. Who's this?
Yo, it's Billy Pipes.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up?
How you doing?
I thought I had to go to work before Bay got off the phone.
You have to go to work, or you got back from work?
No, I thought he was going to be on with you until tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay.
I got on late. I didn't see that you were 100% doing the show, but I just wanted to call in, say what's up real quick, and then let you get back to it. But
that's cool. Yeah. I was gonna do the show. I didn't know what we were gonna talk about, and then it went from the Coraline introduction to all of a sudden, hey, it's a free for all, and that's cool. I don't care anymore. We could just do that. I'm not gonna edit anything, so this is just going up as is. So that's cool. The only problem is the chat will not be seen on the video. I got to figure out how to do that because I don't feel like editing this. It's too long.
all right, I just got done. My fiance and I just hardscaped the tank.
All right.
What a nightmare. You know what's really, really strange, though, is my starfish died. I had a sand-sipping starfish, and I know this isn't the same thing, but, you know, those little tiny baby Astraeus stars.
Yeah.
I just turned my light back on just to see how the tank's looking, and there's like 40 billion of them just floating around in my tank.
Really?
I never seen anything like it. I don't know what the hell it could be, but I don't know. Maybe I disturbed some. I'll tell you what, my Bangai cardinals are eating the shit out of them.
Good.
Holy cow! Wow, yeah, I'm actually watching now that the lights are on. I just
Good.
Lights on.
You know, I started to not mind those guys, but they multiply like crazy. So
yeah.
I want them gone.
Yeah.
They can go after certain corals. They'll go after your coralline algae. They become more of a nuisance. They become unsightly because there's so many of them. I want them gone.
I heard you say you wanted to get more corals.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about it. You know, maybe tomorrow I don't know what I want to get. Maybe a zoanthid or something. You know, just something for a little color. But I'm gonna. Of course, I can't enjoy it in the display tank for 6 weeks because that's my rule, man.
Yeah, even if you dip them.
Even if I dip them, because you know what? My tank was fine, and this is going back a year ago. I dipped the coral. I trust this reef store. I dipped the coral. Everything was fine. And that's when my tank got nailed with ick. Like a week later, I saw it on my coal tank. I'm like, son of a bitch. So I removed all the fish. Then they broke out severely while in the quarantine tank. I haven't added a coral or anything since. Everyone's totally cool. It's been like 13 months now. So I'm leaving corals in a quarantine tank with no copper for 6 weeks minimum just to make sure.
Yep. Make sure you get a hold of Danny over at Coral Lust.
Yeah.
He wants to send you a bunch of stuff, and he'll send you a ton of stuff if you do an unboxing for him.
Of course, yeah. I'll get a hold of him. We'll talk. I'll call you tomorrow if you're around.
Yeah, you give me a call whenever. I'll be on the road.
All right, good. We'll talk about that.
Yep.
That'd be awesome.
All right.
We got to get you.
Go.
We got to get you on Reef Talk too when you want to do it. Scott and I are doing it here and there, whenever people want to be on it. But that'd be cool to get you on. So whenever you want to do that, let us know.
Yeah, figure it out. Yep, give me a shout.
I will.
I was at his house yesterday, or I don't know when it was. I don't remember. My buddy Tristan went. He just got a whole bunch of rainbow acans in that are just like a straight up rainbow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep. But all right, I'm gonna finish cleaning up here and listen to you guys chatting.
All right, man. Cool. Thanks for calling, and I'll give you a buzz.
I'm ready.
All right, man.
Bye later.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Alright guys. Yeah, we started talking about coralline algae, and then it's just, people calling in. That's what I like. Unfortunately, a good part of this show is seeing the chat fly by. We've got, a lot of people watching the show now. Thank you so much. That's awesome. We got the chat. A lot of people chatting it up in the room, which is great. I know they spend more time chatting with each other in the room here than they do listening to me. And that's fine. That's totally great.
Bob Saget, and I just have to ask, I love your channel very much.
Got a voicemail.
And I also want to ask if you dose calcium to your tanks. I love that purple coralline algae, and I was wondering how do I get that on my tank, because it is just a really nice color on those rocks. Thank you for making those awesome vids. I love seeing them every day.
Well, that was Bob Saget. That's what prompted this idea for the show, the coralline algae. Bob, you're very welcome. I'm really glad you liked the show, and hopefully this one helped you out with the coralline algae. Again, we jumped into other topics. I took some phone calls. It was awesome. So I guess, you guys, that's going to wrap it up for me. I'm going to take off. I got some other things to do, but I really love chatting with you guys. Whoa, there's another phone call coming in. All right, let's take one more phone call. This is Steve. Who's this?
Hey, Matt, it's Steve. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, dude?
Oh, man, I just as I woke up on the couch, I was drooling on the arm, and I was like, hey, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to check it out. So I got on there. You were having a little trouble earlier on, but I see we got it going.
Yeah, I was running running a little late. No big deal. And then, of course, a couple of the guys in the chat room were like, "He's late again." It's like, whoa, dude, sorry.
Well, that's right, man. We got to pay for this internet stuff. So.
Yeah, but I say 10, they expect 10, so that's cool. But I'm glad to have people waiting on it, and it's a lot of fun, and we had a pretty good
It's
show
like I
tonight.
never know what to expect. I don't know if it's 9 or 10, but it's like I get a chance and I'm hanging around Friday and there's nothing going on. It's always cool to get on and learn and talk to you guys and all that. So yeah, it's cool. So the subject matter is Coraline, and man, I'm really jealous of your tank because I don't have any. I've just got all white rock. I bleached it when I moved my rock from the 75 to the 125. And so I got all white rock, and I'm thinking, I need that Coraline algae. And I was looking through your videos because I remember, like, when you first started, you were throwing in tap water or something in the changes, the water changes.
Yeah.
And so how did that help?
You know what? I didn't really need it. That's a good question. You know what? A lot of the things that I do on my channel are experimentation, just to say, hey, look at this that I got, and it didn't work. And look at this that I got, and it didn't work. So the calcwasser, it doesn't really increase the calcium, it just kind of maintains things, and it locks things in at a level. That was kind of a waste of money for me. What I was doing, and I didn't really need to do it that much because I don't have many corals that require this, but the coralline algae requires the calcium. Good old water changes will replace the trace elements naturally, calcium and all that, weekly water changes. My calcium always stays at like 450, 460, but maybe once a month I would dose, like in my 10-gallon water change Rubbermaid container, I would dose like from Bulk Reef Supply. I got those calcium crystals, and I would put like a half a cup in with the salt mix and just let it simmer in there with a power head for 24 hours before I do a water change, just to kind of help to boost the calcium levels. It's not needed, but I always did that to give it a little more calcium so the shrimp can molt better. The coralline, since I have so much of it, it'll go through the calcium faster. But again, water changes, I didn't really need to dose the calcium. I just did it to give it a little extra kick over the edge to keep it around 470.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Hey, you know what? Maybe offline I'll give you my address. If you would just take a baggie and like 5 milliliters of water and give me a frag with some Coraline and send it to me, I'll give you $10 or something like that. We'll work something out offline. But yeah, I think that's what I need to get going. And I mean, I trust your tank implicitly. So
it could work for you. Yeah, it could work for you.
Absolutely.
I've got some that I have to scrape off the glass tomorrow, so that could work.
Yeah, just like because like the problem with shipping something in liquid is it's heavy. It's like I don't know what water is by the gallon, but if you just put some in a baggie and send it on over, I don't think it'd die. I wouldn't think it'd die. I ordered some what do you call it, Tatum Warfare or wherever the hell that crap is called. I just got a little ball of it, and I got it the other day, and it just came in a little baggie with very little water in it, and it was in my mailbox. So yeah, I threw it in the sump, and we'll see what it does. Because I've had it before, but just like you, I mean, it doesn't seem to grow for me. But I'll try it again, man, because I want them bugs.
Yeah, make sure that your nitrates are as low as you can get them. Although mine, because I've got so much of the coralline algae, it thrives in with the higher nitrates even. So just keep that down as much as you can. Do your water changes, but spark it. Maybe that'll help you out. Just spark it, and once you get some in the aquarium, it'll just thrive. It'll take a couple months, but it should grow, and make sure you've got enough calcium, at least 450, 460, 470. That's fine. and make sure your tank is established, as I know it is, at least a year, you should be good to go. You just need that spark.
All right. Yeah, my tank is really only a month old.
Okay. Well,
because I had my 75, and I moved everything in it to the 1.5.
How long did you have the 75 up for?
A year.
Okay. Yeah, you should be fine.
Yeah. But I mean, like, very little came over. I bleached all the rocks, and the only thing that really moved over was a fish.
Okay.
I mean, so it's not really an established. I don't have. My rocks are just starting to regrow. I bleached them all, and it worked out great. I was really pleased because I didn't know how I was going to go about doing that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I like white coral, and it looked really good. And now, if I can develop some coralline on it, that's where I want to go.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I mean, I like the different shades of gray and white in a tank. It looks awesome, but I love the all purple. It just, when I walked in for the first time in a reef store and I saw it, that's what I want. And it spread,
Yeah, I thought it was like imitation rock, because they sell colored rock like that.
They do,
but you can't get the variants that you do with real coralline, and that's where I'd love to go. But I got to buy some spores from you, dude. Yeah, scrape me some spores in a bag, and I'll pay you whatever. I don't know. I'll send you that guitar.
Awesome. Maybe I'll get into this. I'll sell coralline algae spores. I'll meet people in the Chicago area in the alleys. That's what we'll do.
Well, yeah. You want to buy a bag? No, do you guys? I don't know if you ever go to frag swaps. We have frag swaps here in Dallas, and there's a couple of different North Texas Reef Fanatics, and that's how I got into it. And they have frag swaps, and you go, and it's really cool. It's just, that's where you really learn about coral.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a show coming up in November here in Chicago. Can't remember the name of it, but it always comes around in November of every year, and I've never been to one, but I'm probably gonna go this year and film for you guys. And
what's really cool is they have raffles. And the last time I went, I won a bag of salt, and I got Rod's food that I'm still feeding my fish. Yeah. I mean, I bought $10 worth of tickets, and I came away with $50 worth of product.
Oh my God, that's
yeah,
awesome.
The raffles are fun too, and they give away some depending on who's running the show. You can really get some opportunities, and it's fun.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
I love that Rod's food. I'd like to see if I can get him on a show, because I was corresponding with him a little bit through email. I mean, we were going back and forth a couple times with personal emails, talking about stuff. It's wow, this is so cool. I'm chatting with this guy. He's a guitar player. We were talking about guitars and stuff. And
well, he's in your region too.
That's right. He's close by.
He's in I can't remember, Elkhart or something like that.
Something like that, or DeKalb, I want to say.
DeKalb is what it is. Yeah, DeKalb.
Totally cool guy. Very just totally down to earth. So I'd like to get him on the show, and I'd like to go see his new tank. He's supposedly working on some new huge tank project he's been talking about for months. That would be great. I'd love to do that for you guys. That would be great.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, that would be cool to see a video of that. Hey, I got my S200 under control. It just took patience.
Awesome.
It's weird how those things break in,
I know. Yeah, so. I know. I'm glad. It's a great skimmer. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, I don't want to take all night, and Billy doesn't like it when people try and take over the airwaves. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, no, he's like.
Let me let you go.
He's like the venting moderator.
To you.
And
I want to send you. I want to send you my address, and I want to have you. Really, honest to God, I want to have you send me a bag of coralline. Would you do that?
Sure.
Awesome.
Here, I'll give you the email right now, and this is for everyone else too. The email is just rottertube, no spaces, just rottertube@gmail.com. All right.
Okay.
So anyone who wants to get a hold of me, you guys can use that.
Awesome.
All
right, man. Thanks. I'm glad I talked to you.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for calling in,
talk
man.
to you, buddy. All right.
Okay, have a good one.
Reef on, dude.
All right. How you guys doing? That was Steve. Great call. So it looks like I will be selling some Coraline. Gonna meet a guy about a thing over by the place. Yeah. Troy, Steve's got 6 women in their underwear proportioning out Coraline in his basement. You got that, dude. I like the way you think. I like where your mind's at. Yeah, and then I got a midget. I'm not midgetous, I'm just saying. There's a midget in the corner watching the 6 chicks sorting it out so they don't steal. So with that, let's end the show. I enjoyed talking with you guys as always. And you guys, you want to get some Coraline? We'll make a deal. You can email me, rottertube@gmail.com. If you want to call the studio line, 630-503-6017. And I'll see you guys later. I love chatting with you guys. Thanks for being part of it, you guys. You guys make my week. Thanks for subscribing and watching. And I'll see you next time, alright?